Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 17 starts off with Sarada. She's kind of reflecting on what Sumire said last time, but she's currently in the middle of a mission with Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and the two other Sand Village shinobi. I forget their names, so you know what I mean? I'm just going to refer to them as that. Anyways, they're kind of just like watching the two Shinju looking at the toad left over from Kashin Koji or something. I don't know how it got there, but it's just there, okay? And they're kind of just looking at it, analyzing it, trying to figure it out. And they're just essentially kind of forming a plan together. And this kind of a scene takes place back and forth. It cuts in between, before they go on the mission and the mission itself. So this chapter's kind of a lot of back and forth in between moments. But overall, this scene kind of just focuses on, well, this particular part of the chapter focuses on establishing what they're going to do, or like try to focus on what's going to happen. And it kind of is just like a little bit of a dispute between everybody. I don't know, it's kind of like you can't just do whatever you want. Everybody make sure you're on the same page. It's Konohamaru trying to take charge and be the leader and make sure everything goes okay. And then it's also kind of like Sarada stuck in her head. The other Sand Shinobi are like eager to like save Shinki and kind of do whatever they want. So it's about patience and waiting and stuff. So essentially what happens next is it cuts to a flashback before the mission, and it goes to Shikamaru and Konohamaru kind of talking about like, hey, you know what you have to do, right? You have to make friends with them. And Konohamaru is like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, these Shinju themselves, Shikamaru is just kind of like, these Shinju aren't exactly evil per se. They're newborns. They've come to life, but they're extremely powerful. So the problem isn't their existence itself. They don't really want to kill us. It's more so they're trying to figure themselves out. And before we let them kill us or attack us or give them a reason to do it, we should befriend them, try to be their comrades, try to relate to them. And Konohamaru is like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like a good idea. And he's basically telling him that like, we know where they are, we know what's going to happen, we have solid intel. And Konohamaru is kind of like, where'd you get this intel from, Shikamaru? And he's like, that's classified, all right? That's way above your status. So it just kind of feels like that. It's a back and forth relationship between them. And essentially what Shikamaru is asking Konohamaru to do for Konoha, if he really treats them like villains and doesn't see them as anything else, he should just make friends with them now and then betray them later and kill them and do whatever it takes to get their soul thorn bulbs, or the soul thorn or whatever, so they can stab and the trees and get everybody back who was transformed into the Shinju. So that's Shikamaru kind of being heartless. That's Shikamaru kind of just like, if you see them as nothing else, if you don't see them as friends, if you don't see them as regular people, all you have to do is just make friends with them now and then betray them later, you know? And I know I said no Danzo and Shikamaru kind of comparison, but I guess he's the only one that I can really think of that could do something like that. You know what I mean? The betraying aspect. And that betraying aspect could eventually come back to haunt them. You know what I mean? It failed. And I do believe that they are going to fail. Something's going to go wrong. Otherwise, if everything goes smoothly, there's no story. So now we cut back to the mission and we just see Konohamaru going up to the Shinju being like, hey guys, what's going on, everybody? We're Leaf Shinobi. We're trying to find Boruto too. What's going on with you? Who are you guys? You know what I mean? They're trying to make buddy. And we kind of see Matsuri blushing. We see Ryu, not really caring, hanging out. And essentially what Konohamaru does is he takes Matsuri and he says, let's look for clues in this other area. And then he goes, Ryu, you hang out with Sarada, Mitsuki, and the other shinobi, and you go hang out over there and look for clues too. So he splits them up. So Konohamaru by himself is going to try to stop or defeat Matsuri by himself. And then the rest of them are going to try to stop and, guess, kill Ryu. So, I don't know. It's not the best plan. But it's interesting nonetheless. And I'm surprised that the Shinju just didn't jump out and attack them, you know what I mean? You would think that would be their instincts, because that's the one that she wants to, like, eat. Instead, she's, like, blushing, and she kind of, like, doesn't want to eat him right away. It's kind of weird that she isn't following her, her instinct to kind of, like, just eat him or, like, bite him or whatever. Instead, she's kind of, like, cowering and she's blushing. But she is feeling new emotions. So, I guess that's kind of the deal. But now, after that, we kind of get a glimpse at what Jura's doing. What's Jura doing during all of this? And he's just going to Konoha, going to the bookstore, kind of just chilling, hanging out, you know what I mean? He's buying books and, I guess, stealing money. I don't know how he got money, but he got money. And Boruto and Kashin Koji, they're hanging out in one of their hideouts or whatever, and Boruto's like, all right, what are the chances that they succeed at this mission? What's the percentage of, like, what are the numbers? Tell me the numbers. Like, how likely are they to succeed? And Kashin Koji's like, everything's going to be fine, all right? Their chances are pretty high right now. And Boruto's like, just tell me the numbers. And he's like, you can't go out there. So essentially, there's a holdback on Boruto. If he goes out there, there's a future where Jura comes out and kills him, and they can't lose Boruto. They need Boruto for, I guess, something bigger, a bigger plan, a bigger situation, something in the future, And of course they do. It's Boruto. And like I said, Jura's going to the bookstore, and nobody is allowed to, like, freak out. Like, civilians are supposed to treat him like normal, go about their day. The bookshop keeper's just supposed to be like, okay, sure, yeah, thank you for the money, you know what I mean? Have a great day. Like, there's no emergency, there's no alertness, there's no need to fight him. One, they'll lose, and two, it's just like, don't provoke him. He likes the Hidden Leaf Village, you know what I mean? So, as long as he doesn't attack it, as long as he doesn't, like, make a big scene, then he can come and go as he pleases, I guess. And then, the chapter ends with Kawaki confronting Amado to give him back all of his abilities. And I thought that was a really solid way to end the chapter. Although, I feel like they definitely should have been having this conversation earlier. But, yeah, it's interesting to see what Amado's reasoning is. Or, like, what he's going to do to kind of amp him back up, And if that will be enough. Is that enough? I want to say yes. Maybe that's kind of like how he gets boosted back up to Boruto's level, So, interesting. Very interesting. So, chapter 17, cool chapter. Thank you so much for watching. So, yeah,